Welcome to the new first episode of hopefully a new series. This time we're gonna try out some vintage story on the channel, see how it plays out. For this episode, we're gonna have to use the mechanical keyboard. Hopefully it doesn't pick up quite well on the mic, but I have a second. I'm working on the second keyboard. It's almost good to go. It needs a couple tweaks for it to sound good. Some of the keys aren't responding well. World setting wise, it's gonna be pretty standard all around. We're not gonna do too much changes to it. We're gonna turn off the color accurate world map for now, and maybe after a couple of months in game, we'll change that via commands in game and allow and have a colored map instead. We're gonna keep everything relatively the same. It's pretty good. And I'll continue the rest of my thoughts once the world is generated and we get into character creation. So I'll see you in a bit. Alright, we've got the world generated, and starting off, we got character customization. We're gonna there's not much variety of color, I guess you could say. Customization to a certain degree. Yep, let's just pick colors. I'll go with this white. Oboe, flute. It kind of reminds me of like a little bit of Don't Starve, if you ever played the game with the voices. I'm accustomed to the trumpet sound, so we're gonna go with that. Hairstyle. Let's see, which seems interesting. Oh, we got more options. Ooh, mohawk. One-sided. Meaning of bangs. Messy. Let's go messy. Oh, an extra hair. Okay, cool. Let's go messy top bun. Keep it simple. Let's go with the sad look. I don't think we can change our expression once we're in, so... Let's go with grin. Kind of neutral. Sergeant, eccentric, seagull, horse. Go none, and then beard. Gold box is kind of good. Let's go with that. Oh, and you pick a color as well. Let's go with the forest brown. Seems kind of good. Doesn't seem too harsh. Maybe oak. Ooh, let's go. Oscar kind of looks like grass. Kind of fits well with our clothes. Go with that. And now we got onto class. We got commoner with no negative, no positive trait. Hunter, who next he's got focus, which means he has plus 20 range damage, 30% accuracy, 20% range distance. Resourceful, which is 10% animal loot, 25% animal harvesting speed, fleet-footed 10% walk speed. Bowyer, exclusive craftable bows and arrows. Farsighted, which is a negative, which is minus 50% melee damage. Claustrophobic, which is minus 15% ore drop rate, and minus 10% minus mining speed. Which that is pretty detrimental, or not that, 10%, it's not that much, but yeah, it's a trade-off, right? It's not that bad, it's not that good either to have. Next up, we got Malefactor, who are tenacious survivors who can avoid unwanted attention and find loot that others might have missed. A heavy conscience leads to weakness in combat, however. So we got Forager, plus 10% loot from foraging, 20% wild crop drop rate. Pilfer, plus 50% drop rate, 10% rusted gear drop rate, 12% chance to collect cracked vessels intact. Furtive, 35% animal detection range, minus 35% animal detection range, okay. Improviser, exclusive craftable slings. However, he is frail, so you have minus 2.5 health points, minus 25% range distance, and nervous, which is minus 50% melee damage as well. Clockmaker are masters of precision and system. You can easily dismantle and repair machinery, but they have no stomach for violence. They're precise, plus 20% damage against mechanicals. Technical, minus 1 temporal gear to repair translocators. Fleet-footed as well, so 10% walk speed. Tinker, exclusive crafting devices to tame locusts. However, they're frail, so minus 2.5 health points, 24% range distance, and nervous, minus 50% melee damage. We have Blackguard, or fierce soldiers that thrive in close range skirmish, but a life of conflict has its downsides. They have no talent for delicate work and need more food to maintain their strength. So that translates to soldier, plus 30% melee damage, plus 50% armor durability. Walk speed penalty for wearing armor reduced by 25%. Hardy, which is 10% mining speed and 5 health points. Merciless, exclusive craftable Blackguard, short sword and shield. However, they have Ravenous, which means plus 30% hunger rate. Nearsight, minus 15% range damage. Heavy-handed, minus 10% loot from cracked vessels, and minus 50% loot from foraging, wild crop harvesting. And next up we have Tailor, provides stylish clothes and clothing repairs to stay warm during the winter months. A lifetime spent in the city leaves an ill-prepared for some hardships of nature, so they're clothier, exclusive craftable sewing kits and clothes. Mender, 10% armor durability. Civil, minus 10% loot for foraging. Weak, minus 2 health points, minus 10% mining speed. And kind, minus 10% animal loot, minus 5% animal harvesting speed. I didn't read the hunters, so let's go do that. Hunters are ranged specialists. They excel in wild forest, plains, and mountains. They struggle in confined tunnels of the underground. Out of all the classes, Hunter or Clockmaker and Blackguard seem interesting. Clockmaker, they can be devices to tame locusts, and the technical is their selling points, which is unique. However, they are frail and nervous. So it's not really good for combat. They are good for pretty much for specific scenarios. Hunter is more ranged combat, not really melee based, and they're not great at mining. And then Blackguard, which is a melee combat focused class, but they're not good at getting early game resources essentially from foraging or from vessels, so but they excel in plus 7% mining speed, which is pretty nice, and then minus plus like melee damage, so I'm gonna go with Blackguard, and with that, let's start the world. And the keyboard sometimes works, which is not what we want. We want it to be a reliable jump button. I much prefer not to have a mechanical keyboard. And if you press M, we can pull up our map. I forgot to mention, I do have a couple of mods. Some are quality of life updates, some changed gameplay a little bit. You just see some chickens running in the distance from presumably a wolf. And let's start things off by exploring our surroundings. The best comparison that this game could be seen at is Minecraft. Pull up our map real quick, see if I can get a lay of the land in this colorless map. Or this brownish map. We got a couple forests up here, some mountains over here, possible plains to the south, somewhere maybe around here. And I could potentially just play with 2 different keyboards. One for the keys, for WASD and all the rest of the stuff, and the mechanical one for spacebar. I should not be running right now because stamina is a resource. Quickly, before we go any further, so we have this gear in the center, which is our temporal stability, or our mental state. Red is our HP, and green is our hunger bar. And let's just try to start finding. Oh, there we go, some flint. This is what we're looking for. Flint. It will allow us to craft up tools. And I'm starting to see why this keyboard, I stopped using it. The space bar is not as responsive as I'd like it to be. But that does mean that my only option is the mechanical one, which is not something I would like. Let's see if I could potentially change what my jump button is to a different button besides the keyboard. I mean, spacebar. Let's see, potentially maybe I could do Alt. Michael, we compose, reload texture, let's reload world. Yeah, let's see if we could maybe change it to the left. Alt, yeah, we can. Oh, right, I can't, because Alt is also the button to move our view. Oh boy, let's see. What does the middle mouse button do? Mouse button 3. It's middle mouse. Is there a button for it? Doesn't seem like it. Seems you could have multiple. I'll pick a block. Yeah, this might be a suitable replacement for now. Or at least a couple episodes so I get the keyboard working. And let's see, I guess for now. So, in order to get resources, we need to break, we need to get some type of stone to allow us to do some crafting. I see we have some greenstone above us nearby. Said I wanted to go potentially east of the sounds, but we're going north. The mountains, forest, let's just U-turn around, let's go south instead. Our mini-map, or in the top right corner, also contains a compass, so it can roughly tell us the direction we're heading in. And first up on the agenda, we have a couple of sticks. It's always nice to have, as they're not rare as much as annoying to get. We have some quartz already in the surface, so it's pretty nice. And the stone type is pederite. Is that right? Perodite? Not really too sure. And let's see, let's pick up some of these stones. Andesite stone, yes, could be used for knapping, which is what we need in order to make tools. We'll quickly do that. Let's make a knife bed. If we didn't find andesite stone or any tough stones, then we would have been forced to use flint. My plans for this year, I probably should have mentioned this, is play maybe like a year or a year, like in-game year worth of time, and then from there maybe continue the series or just end it, kind of be like a one-shot run, and then see how it works on the channel. And yeah, you know, I think once we hit nightfall, I will cover the mod a little bit more. As I mentioned, I have quality of life updates, and as well as some like an EXP system mod. But what I can do right now is cover the UI. So we have a nutrition bar, which will greatly affect our max HP. We have our stats over here, which So it just tells us some information about character. We have armor slots over here. We have some accessories and more over here on the right. We have the date. We have the month. We have the year. We have time. We have temperature, which doesn't really matter for now. It's a little bit. Rainfall tells us how often it is, and rift activity, which can change the different states that it could be in. And with ease, our inventory, we have no inventory spots besides our hotbar. This is our offhand. This is our backpack slots, and this is our crafting grid. So for now, there's not much we do, and we found a merchant already above a precarious cave. Let's quickly hop on over and local goods traded in the luxuries merchant. We'll go to some dialogue options. I know what you mean. You've been popping up in days across land. Don't know where you're from. Don't know what you're doing. Not even like talk about it. But that been said, that's alright. What's your name? We got Road to the luxuries trade trader. And what can you sell us? Seems like there's a couple of interesting luxury pieces, and we could sell some stuff. Gears are the currency of the game. They can only be acquired from caves or from trading with merchants. That is most likely the mechanic will get involved later. I need to find some cattails. Probably, yeah, heading to the west will probably give us the best bet. We're gonna need some cattails in order to make our life easy, because currently we have limited inventory space. Let's see, in order to solve that issue at the moment, we're gonna need cattails. What for? I will cover that once I have enough, and I think the current, we need at least 10 to start with. Cattails tend to be found near sources of water. They're not always near it, but it's a common starting point. I'm gonna grab some berry bushes. We also have some turnips. I'm gonna quickly do, let's see, knife, shovel, spear. Let's go with axe. Let's get a quick little axe head. Pretty much a knife and an axe is, I believe, in my opinion, the basic tools you need to start out. Don't really need a shovel. We're gonna pick up these turnips, see if we can get some seeds and get anything. Pull up M, we can make some marks. And this will help us come back in a later date if we so desire. Ooh, we got our first turnip seed. And from gathering collect those bushes, they also sometimes got some berries. If we eat them, they recover 80 saturations. And they do have a life expectancy of 2 days, so after 2 days they will spoil and will turn to rot, which will no longer be food. And speaking of food, we now have more than 10 cattails, so we quickly make a U-shape and like a basket, which is 3 inventory spots. Now we can put some stuff away off our hotbar. I'll keep these here for now. And if we press H with our handbook, it'll, over an item, will tell us what we can use that item for. This little handy dandy crafting tool. And let's see, I think we'll just continue searching for cattails. We want to make, we can hold 4 items in our backpack slot. So to start things off, we're going to be aiming for 4 baskets. We have 1 already, so we need 3 more, and each basket is 10 cattails in a U-shaped formation. Oh, interesting. We got earthworms. Don't care too much about it right now. We're going to just keep exploring. See if we can find any more vegetables. We need to forage for seeds and fruits. I guess I'll do berry bushes while I'm out and about, start collecting those up, or relocating resources. Berry bushes are very nice to have. I recall seeing some black currants around here somewhere. Here they are. Berry bushes do tend to look like tree leaves, so they're a little difficult to see. We got currently some raining. I'm going to skip on the cranberries, and the reason is, if we collect them off the bush by holding right click, they heal for 60, and the currants and black and red heal for recover 80, so I don't really want to grab cranberry bushes. They're not that important or as valuable. There's some more chickens here, and I have some more cattails here I can quickly grab. We want to be aiming for the roots because that's their hitbox, and they'll give us the cattails if we go any lower than that, if we keep harvesting them. If we keep mining that spot, we will pick up the roots, which will help us relocate the cattails themselves. Personally, I don't think it's really worth doing that. But speaking of which, relocating, we found some carrots. Seems like the minus 10% foraging starting to kick in. Speaking of which, we've hit C. We quickly see our traits again. And heavy-handed minus 15% loot from foraging, which I believe counts towards gathering seed, which isn't great. Speaking of which, there's some olive vine. Let's quickly mark that on the map. That's a nice find for the future to mark it. Let's put a color to it and a picture. Currently, we're getting by with just... Ooh, this is actually massive. So glad I went to get this red currant, because I would have not noticed that there is peat underneath us right here. I need a peat, and let's go for... What image should I use? This mountain one seems kind of good, but this... Let's go with this earth. Yeah, let's go with this earth one. Kind of looks like for gardening purposes. Got some more stone. They're really very nice because stone tools do not last long, so we're gonna need surplus stones to keep replenishing our tools as they inevitably break down. My game plan for now is to just find a suitable location where I would call home, as well as resources. Just gather resources for said home. Because once we find a suitable location, that'll be our base of operations. Help out quite a lot. But until then, oh wow, I hit that fish right in. Oh, that's not a fish, that's a baby raccoon. Oh my god. That was not the intended result. But no, oh, that's white currant berries. I thought that was black. White currant berries do look like flowering currant berries. Our temperature is 34, so we're getting quite cold. My character will start to shiver if I let go my cursor slightly. I believe he's shivering a little bit. We got some parsnip seeds, so looking like we have a nice initial harvest of... That's not what I wanted. So we place that back down. And the white currant as well, not too keen. Speaking of which, grab some grass, which could be done by using our knife on the stone. If you request our feature handbook again. There's some guys that can tell us how to give information. I, however, I'm not a veteran, I'm not a pro, I'm just someone who has played a little bit, so I know what I should be doing to survive to a certain degree. And so... I'm liking the south Let's see, let's put a little bit more of the map. Let's go west. Going south seems like we continue more into like this ravines area and doesn't really seem ideal for setting up a possible base location. Speaking of base location, I can make 2 more baskets because I have 20 reeds and they're 10 each, so before I head on more over the west, let me quickly secure these cattails that are right here. Don't know if I'll find more going west. Hopefully I should. Cattails are, I believe they're mostly found nearby sources of water, so ponds, lakes, rivers should maybe contain some cattails nearby, so I'm 1 off from my last basket. Hopefully I can find one, and yeah, my character is shivering ever so slightly. Hopefully the rain will let up because that is the main indicator cause of my character shivering. I could make a campfire of sorts. That would definitely help out with the cold, but I don't think it's quite necessary yet. Alright, we got our last cattail, and that is done. Get out of the water, fast transport speed. And yeah, I'm just looking for, my goal is again just try to survive a year, see how far I can get, see what buildings I can come up with. There's a lot of creative freedom, and yeah, I just want to see what's it like to play in single player world. I've played on a multiplayer server, and that's a different experience altogether. Community, camaraderie, split roles. Here it's just me. I'm one man who has to do everything himself to survive, and it's going to be like an interesting challenge. And let's see, there's not much interesting things that I can see here. One thing to keep an eye out there are surface rocks. Those would be a nice early game indicator for possible loot or resources. That would be very important. So exploring as much of the map as possible is ideal. We're gonna pass by a bunch of... Actually no, I have space now. I have 4 baskets. I'll break every single crop that I see. So we have that minus 10% foraging, minus 15%. So getting seeds are a little bit rare to come by. Not impossible, but rare. I should probably break everything I see. And we're just gonna keep an eye out, see what we can find. For hunger, we have berries to help with hunger, so that's not that much of a problem at the moment. First episode, we'll probably do 1 day. 1 day's worth, start it off. Maybe 2, maybe an hour-long special, see how the episode goes. This what you call it? Not trailer, not intro episode. Ooh, that is a pig. That's a boar that was right there. Let's hopefully ignore it so it won't come after us. First vessel, we break it open and we got survival book and a couple of grass and reeds. We'll hold up the survival book as that's part of the mod that I have installed, which is about leveling up XP and skills. And I don't want to cover that at the moment as I'm trying, as daylight is very valuable, so I like to do as much as I can while I still have the sun out per se. Ooh, more peat. A bigger supply. It'll be very useful later on. I say there's a pickaxe that I use, right? Yes. No, it's the wheat symbol. And let's just change the pickaxe. That way it's more simpler. I can also have waypoints pinpointed on my mini-map so they'll always show up on the screen. If I'm out of range, they'll be in the corner. You can figure it out, press K and choose menu, press L to discard this tip. Hold L. Oh. There we go, we're gonna quickly... L's also a different button, as you see. Okay, now we're getting cold. Let's quickly mark down this pink apple tree. There we go, mark down, leave some icons to help differentiate them later on. Okay, we are now shivering, which is quite bad for us at very cool temperatures. But luckily we have this axe, so let's start off by just chopping this tree. This will be our key step into staying warm. As you see around the corner of my screen, it's getting a little frosty, which means our character is quite cold. And the shivering is a little bit more visible now. Mining a tree does fell down the entire thing. With the tree down, we have logs. And with an axe and a cart, we can make some firewood. I'm gonna discard some things and let's find a suitable spot to set up campfire. I like to do multiple things while I'm staying warm, so let's pick probably some place, further place an overhead so we can dry up a little bit. Not looking plausible. Just head into the forest, I guess. Pick up some more seeds, some more flags. I think there's some Ryan spelt we passed by earlier. I'm gonna grab that flax. Flax fibers that I threw out around here somewhere. No, I definitely threw them out. There they are. A little difficult to find. Alright, let's set up campfire here. So, campfires are very nice to keep us warm and cooking. So we're going to place down one piece of grass. And I just realized I need a tool called a fire starter. I don't have. I need a couple of twigs. There we go. And I believe fire starter. Yep, there we go. Let's dump the rest of the grass and let's light up this fire pit. And while we're here, we can probably also start gathering some more logs. Alright, campfire's been lit. Gonna start burning the firewood to keep us warm. We're gonna get as close as we can to it. And we're gonna press C and read our bedding temperature. See, yeah, it slowly climbs back up. I believe we want the highest we can get to 47. We're soaking wet, so that does play a factor into being cold. I believe what just happened was that my campfire got wet, so I'm gonna quickly grab some dirt blocks. I placed it, I believe, roughly exactly in the rain, like outside the leaves, so that's why I extinguished very quickly. We're gonna quickly relight this back up. Just got some firewood. We're gonna put a little bit more in there to heat up again. Actually, we're gonna take this back. We're gonna let one of them burn. We're pretty warm actually already. We're 37.5 near max. There's more peat there. Inventory, let's stack up the berries. That'll help out a bit. Planks, grain, we can eat. But nonetheless, let's go check our map. I believe spawn was around here. I did not mark it. Let's fuck off, let's go back around here where spawn was. It doesn't really matter if we ever do that, we'll spawn there. Let's go straight, let's go north again. Let's go a little bit to the north. What's up? By the way, what's the 5% at? It extinguishes itself, but we can add more fuel and more firewood, or anything really, as a source to reignite it. I didn't notice, but I never marked down this piece. Let's do that real quick. A couple sources of peat nearby, which is pretty nice. This will be very helpful for later down the road. It is becoming nighttime. I will need torches. Let's quickly just use the survival book. It says we get 0.625 experience point survival. Let's quickly use that. I will cover that, like you said, once it's nightfall. For now, let's go. Keep going west. Get out of this forest. I don't really like being here. It's too dark. There could be animals nearby, and I don't want that to happen. So we're gonna quickly run through, pick up some branches along the way, break some leaves. We're gonna need a couple of sticks because nightfall is almost upon us. There we go. We got 4. Let's see. If I recall correctly. There we go. Let's make a torch for the night. And we're already out of inventory space. Let's throw away the flag screen. It's not as important to us at the moment. And hopefully I can find a place that'll give us some shelter. Berries are not stacking for some reason. Because I do the count. They seem to different fruit just because of the duration of freshness. You can manually stack them up, however. Took some damage, and that is because I'm hungry. So let me quickly eat some berries that I've been collecting this entire time. It is now 21:35. We're getting very late into the night. It is relatively, it's still somewhat bright, even recording. That's the difference of this game, is that once nightfall hits, it is very dark. You cannot see far. I can't even see that close to you. Let's pick up all the berries. They're our current food source. This seems like a really nice spot for the base. Fairly flat, fairly nice. Got a bunch of bushes, those fruit bushes nearby. Keep grabbing those, and there's a couple more as well. Nice. Our second merchant. Let's see who this person is. If we can click on him. There we go. What's your name? It's Sasha. Sasha, you are the building materials trader. Buy a couple of nice blocks, sell a couple of tools for money. So let's just mark. Tool trader with orange and this caravan icon. Oh, that's our first trader. So traders in this game, gears are the currency of the game. You can each trader, specific traders for each unique thing. Ooh, the range. It's not let up. Each trader has a unique inventory and items they can sell. Gears are what you use to buy some merchandise off traders. And before it gets any darker, let me light up this torch, and there's something neat we can do. We can light it, drop it off, and carry it in our hand as a light source. If I press X, which is a hotkey, it'll quickly put it off into our offhand, which is a little far left separated box. Lift activity is low, so we can, if we wanted to, traverse the night. And it wouldn't be that bad. Let's see, if we go on our map, this seems interesting. I want to go north. We got south, which is a lake, activity common. I wouldn't be opposed. I'm not going to mark down berry bush, so inevitably I'm going to traverse these lands again, in which case I'll find said berry bushes again. Pick up more stones. These are always nice to get. Worms. I do not care enough for inventory space. From what I can see in the distance, seem to be some plains. Not plains, mountains. What the map also indicates. This grayish map. Oh, this seems very interesting. A little different colored brown over there. Possible sand is what it seems like. How far did we explore? We've explored fair amount of our surroundings to a certain degree. Of course, we haven't actually seen all this, is what the map shows us. Ooh, the east and the north, so let me, let's see. I think I'll end the episode here. Oh, we need to run. We need to run now. We're going back to the merchant. Oh, it's chasing us. It's chasing us. I was going to the end of the episode, but it seems that the game had other plans. If I pull up C, it stopped me running, so let's not do that. I think I quickly saw that the Sasha, please close the door. Okay. Well then. We're gonna end the episode here. We got pushed away from a enemy mob known as a surface shifter? Dweller? I don't know exactly the name. But that is one of the horrors of the night. Or creatures of the damned. With that being said, in the next episode, no, we're not gonna. I said I'm gonna cover the XP system mod, and I will do that now. So, if we press O, you'll see 3 skills tabs: survival, collecting, processing. The survival tab has a survival XP bar that we acquire just by surviving. So every time we complete the threshold, we get 1 skill point which you invest in these skills. I will not cover them, that's for later. If whenever we die, we lose half of our current survival XP. Combat is XP gains in battle from fighting that creature that we just encountered. Temporal adaptation is we get when we are in an unstable area or in an unstable temporal storm, which can happen and will happen at some point. Or we can stand in rifts, which we have not yet seen, and that'll give us some XP there. Next up we have collecting. We have farming, which is just skill based on we get some XP when we harvest crops. You see we got a little bit from just gathering seeds. We have digging, which is gained from digging up or mining said dirt blocks or specialized clay and other etc. stuff. Forestry, you get XP from chopping down trees, which definitely each skill has its own perks. It's skill quality of life updates, a little bit of bonus in said perspective field. We have mining, which is acquired from digging stone or ores. I believe most of those are it. We have husbandry, which is all about animal farming, so that's something we could do. Processing, we have metalworking, which is all about ore smithing and tool crafting. Pottery is, as the name implies, is making objects with clay. And cooking, which is you gain XP off of making food or meals or any of that stuff. As you may have noticed, we have positive and minus modifiers in each skill tree, I guess you could say. For our class, we have minus 5% XP gained in survival, plus 20 experience gain in combat, 10% in temporal adaptation, minus 15% farming, 10% increase in digging, minus 5% experience in forestry, 50% in mining, so that's actually pretty nice. Mining and digging will be nice bonus. Forestry minus 5%. Don't think it really matters too much, but it might interest a little bit in the future. Husbandry with minus 10%. Metalworking plus 15%, so that's pretty good. Pottery minus 20, that's not really great, but it's not that important. It'll come maybe into play later. We have cooking, which isn't that bad. And before I forget, we have learn points which we can hold whenever we get leveled up. We have unlearned points, which is acquired through a means later down the line. I won't spoil it, we'll keep it a little secret now. Unlearn cooldown is when you use an unlearned point. There's a little cooldown period before you can unlearn another skill. And we have mastery, so let's quickly go, let's say black and millworking, right? We have the skill, each skill tree has a mastery skill, which allows you to gain 40% more experience in this respective field. Of course, you're limited to 1 mastery per character, so once you pick one, you're done, but you can unlearn said mastery whenever you get enough unlearned points. However, the benefit from unlearned of a mastery skill is the future skills in said skill tree that are locked behind the mastery skill required. For example, level 5, we need to hit level 5 to get Metal Worker, so we can't get that any time before. Once we do get Metal Worker, we can potentially get, let's say, Master Smith. Yes. Not all skills will require said mastery in order to learn them. However, getting said mastery will make learning it requiring experience from said related skill much easier. As more levels you acquire, the bigger the XP bar gets, so having said mastery does help out with that. And in the next episode, we will explore to the north, probably. I'll probably forget by the time I record the next episode, so that's what I think. Well, that's what I'm gonna say for now. But when the episode actually does happen, we will see. So, thanks for watching. If you're stopping by, let me know if this interests you. I will probably make a couple more episodes, and see you then.